If you hadn't guessed it yet, that is a new attachment on the trailer that I'm pretty excited about. As a matter of fact, I've been wanting one of these since I first saw it a couple years ago. So today, we are going to get it unloaded and set up and trim some trees. Should be a lot of fun. Okay, so you guys had probably already figured out what I had, but this is a precision manufacturing high reach tree shear. Now, really quickly, let me just tell you the differences between some of these you may have seen. If you saw one on a mid-sized tractor, it was probably the mini clip. Pretty sure that's what Tony from Tony's Tractor Adventure and Daniel from Arms Family Homestead both have. And that version has a smaller cutting head. I think, I'll look this up, and if I say it wrong, I'll put it on the screen. But I think that one's rated to cut a branch that's like 6-inch diameter. This cutting head is rated to cut 9 to 12-inch diameter. So the mini clip is a smaller overall. The whole thing is smaller and has a smaller cutting head. And that allows you to put it on a smaller machine. The advantage to that one over this one is it has an extendable boom. Mine is not an extendable boom, but I don't think that's going to be a problem for me because the skid loader can already reach, I don't know, what, 10 or 12 feet is the height on the boom, plus another 6 feet. That's getting way out there. And what you need to think about with one of these is this is a really heavy attachment. Now you're going to lift it out in front of you up in the air 16 feet, however far it is. And you're going to cut a branch, and when you cut that branch, you might be clamping the branch with the cutter at least for a minute, and that's going to jerk on you. And so you got to be careful about overreaching. That's why I got this model right here. They actually have two models that are larger than this, that are this size cutting head, but one is manually telescoping and the other is hydraulically telescoping. That version that is like mine, but hydraulically telescopes, that is a very heavy unit and you need a heavy machine to run it. This model, I think I could get if I got even a big tractor. So, I'm excited to see what it can do. Obviously, it's like a giant pair of tree shears that can cut 9 to 12-inch limbs, or at ground level, you can cut a 9 to 12-inch tree. But at ground level, you have to be careful that it doesn't fall back on you. They do have another optional accessory for this that I didn't get, called the Clamp It. It goes above the cutting head and clamps on the tree and lets you control its fall better. So we'll see if I regret not getting that or not, but I'm excited to get it out there and put it to use. First thing I need to do is get it hooked up and make sure it's cycling. One more optional thing is you can get this that runs off a wireless remote, and that's the kind I used with Daniel Arms. And then you can also get it with your skid steer electrical connectors. I got it with the remote just because that gives me versatility. If I ever want to put this on another machine or anything like that, that other machine may not have the same electrical connections. So let's see if we can get this thing working. I was just thinking about the way I led into this video, talking about getting this tree shear, and I want to make sure I'm fully transparent. I didn't buy this unit. I've been partnered with Precision Manufacturing for over a year now to demonstrate their products. I don't own this, but I didn't pay for it. Companies frequently want to demonstrate their products, and that's what I'm doing for Precision. And I will tell you if I like it or I don't. All right, so the way this is set up, there's a pretty good sized square battery in this compartment with a battery tender. So you're gonna have to charge this from time to time. I don't know how often, but I'll find out. Then in here with our instructions is a wireless remote. Now I don't know how this is going to work. If you're gonna push it once and it rotates, push it the other way, it rotates back. Or if you're going to push your controller in the cab, I think it'll probably be a diverter, where you push this button, then push your controller in the cab, and that will tilt the head. Then if you let go of this button, the same control in the cab will open and close the jaw. I almost forgot. I picked this up at the factory, and one of the guys who makes them loaded it for me and explained how it works. There's a switch on top of that box where the battery is. You push that switch once and that turns the unit on. Then when you click the button, you can hear a diverter flip over. So pretty sure it will be a diverter. So I think we'll intentionally start small. This tree's about a 4-inch diameter. It'll be nothing at all for that, but I just want to see it work on something before we move to something that could be bigger or more dangerous. The tree's not bleeding. It took a little bit of red paint off the jaws. So I spent an hour at the Western Farm Show yesterday meeting customers of Precision Manufacturing. I just hung out at their booth and talked to everyone who walked up. And most of the people who walked up and already had one of these were telling me they used it a lot for clearing fence rows. And they can do, I mean, they might have miles of fence rows, these farmers. And they can trim the low stuff down here like this, but also any branches hanging over. And that's what I'm planning to mostly use it for. But right now, I want to test the capabilities of this that says it can cut giant limbs. So just on the other side of the house, we've got a big tree, and we have our rural internet has a receiver that points at an antenna, and that tree has a bunch of limbs that are kind of blocking the path of that antenna. I've been wanting to take a couple limbs off, and I think they're pretty darn big limbs. So let's go take a look at it and see if this will do that job. All right, I'm guessing you can probably see it on this evergreen right here is our internet receiver, and it shoots up right through these limbs right here. Now, some of these I think might be too tall for me to reach, but I'm gonna see what I can get. And I may have to clip some of them further out and not get the whole branch, but should still help. Cutting those limbs off was easy, felt safe. Trying to pick them up without cutting them to move them was a little bit tougher. Maybe something that just needs a little bit of practice. I have a tendency to mow this part of the property with the tractor, whether that's the mid-mount or the brush hog, and I can't drive under these limbs right here, but they're kind of pushing it on size. I mean, that is a big limb. I want to see if I can take off at least the outside part of that so I can get within a few feet of the tree. Fantastic. So the truth is, I've acquired a lot of equipment over the last couple years, a lot of attachments for tractors and skid loaders or hand tools or just all kinds of equipment. And a lot of times you see the ad for something and it just doesn't live up to the hype. It doesn't do what you thought it was going to do, or it's a lot harder. And that's not the case here. I didn't think I'd be able to get that high. I didn't think I'd be able to get that branch, those two branches there, all the way to the tree. It worked better than I thought it would. And that's rare. A couple things I would like to mention though is, number one, safety. All of those branches, if you look up here, all of that, this is a big machine. Visibility is not perfect because I'm looking, when I get way up, I'm looking through the window cutout on the top and it's hard to see through. So I can bump into that tree branch with the end of this and shake the tree pretty hard. That is a lot of weight overhead. I'd be very cautious in an open station about knocking other branches onto your head. But with this cab, I mean, you can still tear your machine up, but it's some protection. And I liked having the severe duty door, but no problems whatsoever. Everything went pretty smooth. I think after I cut the camera off, there's two more little limbs over there that I'd like to have gone, and then we'll leave this tree alone for a while. This one spot right there, the limb tore off. Instead of cutting off, it damages the tree, but I didn't do it on purpose. Anyway, I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. If you're interested in getting one of these or any other product from Precision Manufacturing, you can order those at agfolks.com. I'll put a link in the description and the pinned comment. I do not earn commission if you use my link when you order. I'm not paid in any way for anything I do with Precision Manufacturing, but you can get 5% off with code ROCKHILL. I appreciate you taking time to watch. Put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.